Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. This is Michael Voss, the political dragon here in the Bronx, and I happen to be at 806 Jennings Street in the Bronx. Now, I believe every one of my and all of the live streams should be up to date, but I'm going to wait about 30 seconds to make sure that Rumble is up with all of us. Then I'll explain exactly what's going on. I know. Oh my God, it's another 20 seconds of just looking at this pretty face. Hey, don't worry. Beautiful. And my God, it always takes the longest when I'm waiting for everything to catch up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bang. Okay, hello, Rumble. Thank you for joining us as well. So we should be on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and a few others as well. Again, I am Michael Voss, the political dragon here in the Bronx, New York. I am at 806 Jennings Street, and the Bronx Conservative Party are going to be having a candidate outreach where they're going to be following up on what's happened this year, 2024 elections, because elections are every year, and our government needs to be improved at every time. So we're going to be listening to many of the candidates, speaking to you about why they are more effective, why they are more efficient than many people who are in government right now and just pushing the status quo. You get to make up your mind about this on your own. You get to make your own decision. The event is scheduled to start at about 3 o'clock. It's running a little bit behind. Don't worry. We're going to be live streaming throughout the entire event so that you get to hear every word and you get to find out for yourself. I'd like to say that ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, all of the mainstream news media, I'd like to say that they're also covering this event, but they're not. They don't want you to know that this actually exists. They want to silence your voice. We don't believe in that. We want you to hear every word of everything that everyone has to say so that you can make your mind up for yourself, not to be told what to think by the news media. So I'm filling a little bit of time here, folks, as we're waiting for everything to get started. Don't worry about it. Hopefully, we'll hear from several candidates. If any of the candidates want, they will be able to come up either before or afterwards. We'll try and speak with them exclusively, give you a little bit more one-on-one in-depth conversation. I'll also be taking photos throughout the entire event. That's about everything that I have to say at the moment. How's everybody doing? It's Saturday. I know. Tomorrow's football. Guess what? You can watch it today. You can watch it during the week. It's the holiday season. Go back, watch all the videos about the entire year, see what they were saying to you about 2024, what they promised you, and then what they've actually provided. And then tell me whether or not you think the people in government right now are effective and efficient and actually looking out for you. I don't think they have to. A couple people like what I'm saying. Oh, I look forward to seeing some of the comments. Okay. So while we're waiting for everything to start, I'm going to have the camera set up, just focus right now. I'm going to step away. I got to get my cameras set up and get my second backup camera going. You're going to see an empty podium for a few minutes, and then everything will start up. Just stay with us, and I'll pop back in a couple of minutes if we don't get started up right away. Okay, folks? Thank you. By the way, do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe, especially subscribe. This is going to be suppressed by the mainstream news media. They don't want anyone to know that there are conservatives in the Bronx. They don't want people to know that there are men, women, everyone, whatever you want to call yourself, they, them, that are in the Bronx, that are conservatives, that are Republicans, that are anything besides the progressives that they keep trying to shove down our throat. And because of that, they're going to suppress this. We fight that by subscribing, by sharing this. Once this gets started up and you're hearing the candidates, share this with everyone you know on every platform so that your friends, your neighbors know they have a choice in elections, that you have the freedom to choose the best person, not just the party, the best person that aligns with whatever you believe. Because remember, they are obligated. Every single elected official is obligated to represent you, not the other way around. You get to make the decisions, they get to follow. That's what they swear an oath to that. Hold them to it. Make them efficient, make them effective, and remind them that we are paying attention. That's how we get rid of corruption. That's how we get better people in elected office. I just wanted to share that. So please subscribe, share, and I'll be back in a minute. Yes, it is still on. Camera.
How you doing, everyone? My name is Gonzalo Duran. I'm the vice chairman for the Conservative Party, and I'm also working at the event today. One of the coordinators for today's event. Give us a couple more minutes. We're just waiting for one more main speaker, and then we'll start it off. Thanks, guys.
Good to um, no Soundbites. It's my channel. So it's going to be seats up there now. That's the one like this one. One time. Press. Oh, Mark Haven Harold. Okay. Ellen Mark. You guys don't mind, I'm gonna do this. By the way, folks, I want to stand corrected because we do have some press there. We have Emily Swanson with the Bronx Times. We have Demont Haven that is with us as well. So they're here. We have reporters. They're going to be live streaming. Also, they are writing articles on this. So, yes. Now, where's ABC? Where's CBS? Where's NBC? I say that they're very important because they have 1,000 employees. They should. Here, they have employees here throughout. They're in the Bronx. They can't say that they couldn't take one person out there, 10,000 employees in New York City, and send them to the event to cover. I tell you, that's really says something about the major mainstream news media. But I did want to give credit to the news media that are here. So now you know.
Mic check, mic check. Just let everybody know that in about 5 minutes, we're gonna start off. But just to be a little bit patient, and I apologize. We're just waiting for the last speaker that just arrived. Thank you very much.
Like we're just stay with that one because I you guys so then I'm like, that was the shortest. I came outside. I was. We're nervous. But it's also yeah, yeah. Yeah. It was like perfect events. Like dash, you know? Yeah. I was like, but like after I cut off my things telling me about very open. Yeah, you're like that. That's stuff about like but like it could be I now that I've been in New York now. No way. Oh my God, where can we visit? Only like only like for 2.5 years. Yeah, and then like once that dress. Yeah, it's like thank you. Yeah, definitely. Like running out. So I'm like never but I think it's like great. Done with her. Like and so it's yeah.
So the website, check this out. 2015 something. Um, off. Minus 6.
I'm sorry, I missed your first name. Michael.
See, stand up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's for that. Come back up. Nice.
Always. Oh, yeah. So I always like to work with people when I'm on the scene.
I have no idea. Yeah. We're trying to do that. So like we all like want to go out after like our last day class. And so like I'll take a photo or I take a photo. I'm like, oh okay. You might be that's my question. Yeah. You should come. It's like a really good. It seems like it. What was your going? Yeah. Yeah. Goes. But yeah. It's a good friend. Like, how you doing?
I don't know what's here.
I think so. Next semester is 9. You didn't take it to the prep class. You did like secondary, like, oh, you did. Oh, you did take both. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we probably have like, like 20. So it's like, that's fine. It's been way better. Well, like, I mean, right. Yeah, it's still on. That's like, I was working on the practice. I'm doing it. But even if you yeah, that's great. And that's what too, like, you like kind of have that peak there, or were you kind of like doing everything? I mean, especially your last, we were definitely so. But like, yeah, but it goes. Yeah. Okay. And then. Yeah. It's like a lot of things. Just like, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Good afternoon.
I just thought about this.
Everybody, welcome to our key guests and of course our wonderful slate of speakers. I'm Isaiah Vega, happy to be here from Brooklyn. Now, this year we saw the return of President Donald J. Trump to the White House. It is such a wonderful victory, and garnering about 44% in the state. It's such a wonderful. However, here locally, we saw only one seat in the state legislature for New York City. And statewide, we did not do as well as we expected. And, even here in New York City, we did as well as we expected. So, we're here for one thing. We're here to begin a new movement, to take back our city, to establish something great. And so, I'm here especially to support my friend. I'm going to call it now. His name is Duran, a veteran nonprofit CEO and well-established member of the community. So I'd like to welcome the voice of conservatism in the Bronx and especially, hopefully, New York City, my friend Gonzalo Duran. Yeah, baby.
So just a little bit of house rules, if you guys don't mind. When you speak into the mic, speak directly. This is a musical mic, so that's why you got to be like that. Also, just remember that we're in a church, so please be mindful of that. Be respectful as well, and in your language when you're speaking, and just in overall. After today's event, we're going to, excuse me, let me keep on to the roll call. We're going to have, like Isaiah said, 5 main speakers speak from different counties and representatives from the different counties, and then we'll have the other candidates speak as well as other individuals that have knowledge within the political system that we want to make sure that we try to get some knowledge from them and possibly some resources if we can. So with that being said, once again, my name is Gonzalo. Oh, excuse me. After that, after everything is done, we'll go upstairs to the second floor, and we'll have light snacks and refreshments. At that point, I want you guys to take that opportunity to conversate, take pictures, to network. If you didn't bring your cards, start texting each other or giving each other the information. This is an opportunity that not a lot of us have because at the end of the day, it's hard to get people from all counties to come into one room. But today we did that. Today we have that. So let's take that opportunity. And with that being said, for the candidates that are running for the 2025 election, I want to be the first person to say congratulations. So give yourself a round of applause right now. Now, with that same gusto, every speaker that comes up here, give them that same amount of love. Not only when they start off the conversation and the platforms, but when they finish it as well. Please, because we need that encouragement when we're up here. It's not easy. Not easy being up here and talking and putting yourself out there. So with that being said, how did this event come aboard? Well, for the last 2 years as the vice chairman for the Bronx Conservative Party, I've had the privilege of mentoring, recruiting, and finding individuals that want to run for office. And that's put me in a situation where one thing always comes up at the hierarchy of individuals that I have to deal with. Is this person viable? Well, to me, someone who's viable is someone who's stepping up to the game and the plate and wanting to do something, make change, not only within the community, but also in the grand scheme of everything. So for me, each and every one of you are viable candidates. Now, these 5 individuals from these counties, I'm going to speak on one trait that they have. Each one of them has different traits that are important to the community and for our campaign, but I'm just going to highlight one of them for now. Now, the first person I'm going to mention is Jason Murillo from Manhattan running for city council. Now, presidential today. I love it. I love it. Now, Jason is someone who decided he wanted to run for office, and he let everybody know a year ago. Now, within that time frame, the first thing he did, unlike waiting for not like a lot of people that they wait until just a couple of weeks to start doing the process, he started months, almost a year ago, going to the Board of Elections, the Campaign Finance Board, and getting all his documents ready. And since then, he's been gradually getting events done, getting the same promise into different situations. He's been my left hand in a lot of opportunities that are out there, especially the media. So that's one example. The next one I'd like to mention is Juan Pagan. Juan, now, one of the things that I want you guys to know about Juan is that one of the things, besides the many things that he's been doing in his political career for many years, The best thing that he's been doing recently, though, is getting endorsements from organizations. That's something that you have to keep in mind because we can't just do this with our circle of friends or family. We have to expand to different areas. And one of the best ways to do that is to try to get endorsements from larger organizations that are going to put you in the forefront, to put you in a position to speak in front of a large crowd, to get you ready for those political forums and debates and whatnot. Now, the next person I'm going to speak about is Jennifer. Jennifer is coming from Staten Island. She's running for city council. Now, where is Jennifer unique? Once again, she has a lot of resources and a platform already before even going into politics. But the one thing that impressed me that I want to highlight is the word conservatism. When you speak to her, when you work with her, when you see what she's about, you will see that the embodiment of conservatism coming out from her and in her speech as well. That is something that even myself, when I started out in the Conservative Party as the vice chairman, to stay conservative. I'm a conservative. When it comes to her, I was like, oh, did you know you said conservative like 4 times in the speech that we just talked about a couple minutes ago? And boom, now she is a registered conservative running for the city council in a district where there hasn't been anyone for over 10 years. Let's give her a applause for that. Come on. Now, the next person I'm going to highlight is Tyreek Goodman, who's running for city council in the Bronx. Now, a year ago, I met Tyreek, and I can tell you right now, he was not the most enthusiastic person when it came to politics. He slammed the door in my face, and he told me, get out of here. Then I challenged him, and he challenged me. Now, in this year, this past election, he has completed more than 12 events alone when it comes to the political realm, and he's completed over 22 events when it comes to community involvement and engagement. So a round of applause for that. So now, coming into the 2025 election, guess what Tyreek is going to have? He's going to have a huge platform of different things to talk about that he's done for the community, whether it's a pop-up shop, networking events, community businesses, cleanup projects, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. Mental health, counseling for men with mental health problems, et cetera. Those are all things that when we step onto the plate in these political debates and these forums, we're going to have to say, well, we don't have the legislative appeal that the incumbents have, so we're going to have to go off of our reputation, our work ethic, and everything else, our persona. In the end of the day, we have to go off of that, and that's an important thing. Now, my right-hand man for the last year has been Isaiah Vega, who's running for district leader again and the district leader candidate. Now, when I finished speaking about him, I want you guys to give him a harder and longer round of applause because I'm trying to get him to run for city council again. So when I finish with him, let's do that. Keep that in mind. Now, Isaiah. Now, one of the things that I think that he's pushed forward more than other people is to try to do not only recruiting, but also using his analytical data and basically his knowledge of the political numbers in our favor. So he'll talk to the newest person to the most senior person and give him the information we need them. At a certain point when you're running your campaign, you may be the best speaker, you may be the most well-rounded person when it comes to platforms, but if you don't have the data at the end of the day, you're at a disadvantage. And that's what one of these things that I'm trying to bring out. You have media, personification of conservatism, you have data, and you have all these together. Now, all these things, now, not one person has all of them, but what we do have is the ability to share, unite, and then use them for the upcoming elections that we have. Once again, what Isaiah said, we won as a team with Trump winning, but individually we lost, and we need to change that. And that's not going to come overnight. It's going to be having to have more people run for office. We're going to have more presence in the media. But in my perspective, all that is not going to mean anything if you don't have more voter registration signed. And one of the things that I bring to the table is this: everywhere you go, everything that I mentioned to somebody either starting out their campaign or a well-rounded individual, if you don't have 50 registered conservatives or individuals signed up, then you're at a disadvantage. You need these because this is right here. It's going to be the foundation of your campaign. It's going to show that when you need people to help you with your contribution, is going to come from right here. When you need a team to build up, it's going to come from right here. These individuals, you get their information, you start your data, personal data, and you start expanding on that. And when you have, eventually you're going to see, you're going to have a large data of people to reach out to, not only for signatures. When we go out there in a couple months, you're going to need people to sign. If you have 50 of these already signed in your district, you're pretty much halfway done in the whole campaign. Everything else comes after that. This, to me, is where it's going to change in the years to come for us to say we have more elected officials within the Conservative Party. This is where it's going to come that we're going to make a presence in the media, etc. Now, I'm going to switch over to highlighting these individuals. Now, I forgot about Isaiah, so let's give Isaiah a round of applause. And I want to make sure you know that we appreciate what he does, and he should be ready to get off the job. Right? So I'm going to switch over to myself, and this is what I expect for us to start doing in the weeks and months to come. We're going to have to get ourselves into locations and platforms so that we speak, so that people know who we are, not only just in paper, but face value and the things that we need to get out on our platforms. That's one of the biggest problems. People don't know that the Conservative Party is out there. So I'm glad the media is here today. We have an opportunity that when this situation is done, I'm sure they're going to reach out and want to speak to individuals. Take that opportunity. When we're upstairs chit-chatting and eating, take the opportunity to get to know the individuals that are, when you hear what they have to say, see who aligns with things that you are with, and then the ones that don't align with you with, so that you can understand where they're coming from. That's the gap of the spectrum that we need to start working on. What I believe in, it may not be the same what you believe in, but if we can find a middle ground, then what that gap of animosity or unification comes closer together. So that's what I hope that we all get from here today. So what makes me a viable candidate? You know, for myself, I start off everything with my background. I'm a former United States Marine Sergeant, Iraq veteran. Hurrah. Hurrah. In my time of service as an administrator, I went across the country building up organizations from the bottom up, helping service members from all over with pay, education issues, anything you can think about when it comes to a structured organization. Coming back home, I struggled, but once I became acclimated back home, I persevered. Started an organization called Devil Dog USA Incorporated, and from there, the last 11 years, I've done my best to work with every single demographic across not only the city, but the nation. So I've been fortunate that my work in the nonprofit world has brought me to the national level, but at the same time, I've never forgotten my roots. Both of my offices are within this area, and for me, that has put me in the media a lot more. So when I come up and say I want to run for office, it's been very easy for me to transition to that. So I'm very grateful for that. Side note, I'm also the vice chairman for the Bronx County Conservative Party, where in my first year coming in, after registering, I became the district leader 3 months after joining. 3 months after that, I became the vice chairman. Within that year, I helped increase the party countywide by 15%. This year, I've helped increase it by 20 to 25%. I'm very proud of that because now that shows that we have more individuals not only running, but that fill vacant slots and also being prominent in the community. So now we're getting let's say, our chops in there to be a part of something greater than what we're trying to get. So now that we have events, it's not just 5 people coming into the room. Now we have full rooms and we have to find bigger places to do it. Additionally, I'm a chaplain where I've done work with getting resources and distributing resources all over the city. And on my spare time, I mentor at-risk teens. To give you some idea of my accolades, I'm a NASDAQ Goldpreneur, Father of the Year recipient from New York City, Veteran of the Year for the Bronx, Humanitarian of the Year, and so forth. So those are the things that I try to bring to the table so that other people can not only see what I'm doing, but what I'm about. Once again, I may not have the legislative acumen that the incumbents have, but what I do have is a solid background. And the foundation of my campaign and me running for office is leadership, transparency, anti-corruption, and anti-flip-flopping, which I think a lot of we see that in politics nowadays. So I want to be the change. I've made everything that I want to do and what I am doing public so that people can get that face to face with me and not be somebody you've heard of but never seen or worked with, etc. Now, with that being said, it's been a truly a privilege to work in the last, well, I've been in politics for the last 8 years, but only the last 2 years haven't been in the forefront. But as you can see, working across the city and making contacts, helping out in different ways, whether it's getting people together for activities or for campaigns or networking, etc. I'm hoping that I can take all this and we can do something that hasn't been done. This event hasn't been done, but there's more that I want. I want to do more that hasn't been done before, and that's one of the first thing is have a conservative person in all the top bills for our slates. I'm talking about mayor, public advocate, and borough presidents, and we can negotiate with the other parties if they want to take our other slates. So that's something that we need to start looking for because what Isaiah said earlier, we made some strides, but we can't lose our momentum. We have to use that to keep us going. We're not going to get bigger and we're not going to get stronger if we don't take that. So I challenge you guys not only to that you're running, but also find individuals that want to run. I want you to find individuals that want to sign up, and at the same time, start working together in a more unison um, as the organization is. We are the conservative party here. So let's move forward. So in front of you, my friends, my family, my colleagues, I'd like to formally announce that my name is Gonzalo Duran, and I'm running for New York City Mayor under the conservative line, and I'm seeking your support. Thank you, and as always, God bless America.
Can we just give Gonzalo another round of applause? What a wonderful speech. Okay, I gotta really get into this fight. So now I'm going to call up the first speaker, my friend Tyreek Goodman. Tyreek ran for the state assembly on the conservative line this year, and I'm sure he'll tell you a little more about that. But Tyreek Goodman, everyone.
Okay, how's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. I'm a little nervous, a lot of y'all here. I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna get through it. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tyreek Goodman. I'm from the South Bronx. Before I was running for the 84th Assembly District, and now this year I'm running for City Council. But before we go into that, first I want to shine a big light on Mr. Duran Gonzalo because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. So let's give him a round of applause, please. Now, like you first said, when he first came to my door, it was a lot of slamming of the doors in their faces because just like any other citizen is, why are you knocking on my door? What are you here for? A lot of us, they come, we sign petitions, and we don't see them again. And after we don't see them again, it becomes a situation for us where we look at it like, all right, you just coming into our face, you don't look like us, you don't talk like us, and you want our support and our vote. Meanwhile, we go back to where you come from, and things in their neighborhood is everything great, but what about ours? And that's my perception of what I thought of Mr. Duran when I first met him, and even more so when I met my brother Leon, my guy, it was definitely that. But one of the major things that Mr. Duran hit the nail, hit him on the nail is that he challenged me. He said, you can easily talk about me. You can easily point the finger at me and say, what am I doing and why, you should earn your vote. But what have you done for your community? And if I give you an opening, what will you do for your community? And just that little bit of opening right there, just that little bit, and that challenging, of what I thought. It opened the door for me to say, well, you know what? I can do it too. I can do more. I can be more. And you're right. I can't. I have no right to judge the politicians or the people that's in office if I'm not willing to take a stand and step up myself. But we're not taught that in our community, especially coming from a kid that's in the project. I would never thought that my voice would matter. And one thing that Dion said that I got to shout him out about is making it real for them. And one thing I got to say for these men right here is they made it real for me. They opened my eyes to politics and opened my eyes to local government, understanding that, yeah, things on the national level is going to be what it's going to be. But locally, it's how you make change. Outside of just running, when I decided to run in my first campaign a few months ago, I said, well, one of the things that we don't see is the politicians put in the work. We see them talk, we see them tell us what they're gonna do. They come out, give out some checks, come out, make a couple of events, but we don't really see them put in the work. So one of the things when I talked to Mr. Duran was, hey, let's put in the work. And I also challenged them too. I said, how far are you willing to go? You know, and the good thing about being in the conservative party is that they was willing to go. They was willing to come out. They was willing to be in the trenches. They was willing to come and meet my peers and make it real for them. And that's what we need to inspire the youth, to inspire the kids. It's always been a blue state. So when we talk about hoping what change could be, we are the change because nothing has changed in the last 30 years or so. And just by having a three-ballot system, that means now people don't have to worry about being fed two different lives or feeling like they have to pick between two lesser evils. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, degrading what the Democrats have done or what the Republicans have done. But a lot of people that's within my community, a lot of people that come from where we come from, we see the fighting and we see them bickering back and forth and they're playing politics with our lives. Meanwhile, their kids and everybody else is fine. They don't play that within their communities, but they're playing that in our parents losing their rights over their kids, but yet still they tell us, oh, we need to have more control of our kids. How can we, if you're passing these laws to stop us from having setting that precedent, setting that leadership for our kids? When we talk about just the youth in general, the government got to understand is that they're dealing with a different type of dynamic of youth. The youth now, because we have the internet, knows that they can make money outside of just going to school. They can make money just by their phones. They're entrepreneurs. They already know the secret that, all right, I don't gotta go through the whole high school or go through college to make more money than my parents. And it's not the right way or the right thing. But how do we get them back and grounded? Because even while you're chasing your goals, you still gotta go through the school system. You still need a 9-to-5 job. So my thing is that while we're running and to each and every candidate that's here, I say focus on the youth. Those are going to be the ones that's going to come and support you more. A lot of them want to be a part of your campaign. A lot of them want to feel wanted. And in the streets, when I was growing up, if the OGs or the big homies gave me position, I was following suit. Y'all are the big homies and the OGs that we're looking at. Yeah. So you have to move as such as well. And that's just making it real for them, connecting with the youth. And, my name is Tyree Goodman. I don't speak like the average person. I speak exactly how where I come from. But at the same sense, I'm what can and I'm what is. And, I'm also the change that I wish to see. And thank you to Mr. Duran Gonzalez.
Thank you, Tyreek. Our next speaker is going to be from Manhattan. Mr. Coming in right now, Jason Murillo. I went for City Council District 2. Here we go. Be nervous. That's DJ Loudmouth right there. Yeah, nervous. Oh, yeah, you're right, there you go.
How's everybody doing today? All right. Thank you for coming out, Nicole. You know, I don't know how hard it is to come out, especially in the weekend when the trains are all messed up. You gotta take like 2, 3 trains. You gotta, the whole thing. So that's the struggle that our fellow New Yorkers, have to do on an everyday basis. Good afternoon, let me get Good afternoon, my neighbors and friends that are out here today on this fine afternoon. Praise the Lord. He has blessed us with, even though it's a little chilly today, but a nice day. It's not snowing, it's not raining, so it's a good day to be out here today. For those that don't know, my name is Jason Morello, also known as DJ Loudmouth on WPAT New York 930 on the AM dial, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And also I've been a television producer for over 25 years, community media from Manhattan Network, Duran, Brick TV, and so on. So, and also I'm a proud member of the New York State Conservative Party. I joined them officially this past spring. So previously I was with the Democrats, and then 2015, when Trump announced his candidacy, he was running for president. When I was living in Virginia, I was one of the first ones to re-register as a Republican. And so even though I'm currently conservative, I still have Republican values as well. Because the Democratic Party today is not what it was years ago and does not represent us, definitely does not represent New Yorkers. So I thank everybody for being here today. It means the world to me to stand before you all in the heart of our incredible city, surrounded by the very people who make New York the vibrant, resilient, and extraordinary place we all call home. Today, for those that don't know, I'm honored to announce my official candidacy for New York City Council of District 2 in Manhattan's East Village, where I lived for over 35 years. My neighborhood has given so much to me. So now it's my turn to get back to my neighborhood where I'm from and whom I proudly represent and will protect and defend at all costs. New York City has always been a beacon of opportunity and hope. A city where dreams are born and hard work turns into reality. But in recent years, we face challenges that test our resolve. The rising cost of living, disparities in education, access to affordable housing, public safety concerns, and the ongoing recovery from the economic and social impacts of the pandemic. I'm running for city council because I believe in the power of local government to make meaningful, tangible changes in people's lives. I believe in a city council that listens to its residents, stands up for its neighborhoods, and fights for equality and opportunity that every New Yorker deserves. My vision for our city is rooted in 3 core principles: fairness, opportunity, and community. First, fairness. Everyone should have the fair shot at success, regardless of where they come from or what they look like. That means prioritizing affordable housing initiatives to combat displacement and homelessness. It means reforming our education system, where every child, whether in the Bronx, Staten Island, or anywhere in between, has access to world-class learning opportunities. Second, opportunity. New York thrives when we all can thrive. That's why I am committed to supporting small businesses, fostering workforce development programs, and investing in job training for the careers of tomorrow. We need to build an economy that works for everyone, from the single parent struggling and working two jobs to the young entrepreneur with big dreams. Third is community. Without community, we have nothing. Our strength lies in our unity. We must create safer streets through community-centered policy and invest in mental health services that address root causes. We must strengthen our parks, libraries, and public spaces so that every neighborhood, regardless of zip code, has places for connection and recreation and recreation. This campaign isn't just about me, it's about us, all of us. It's about the small business owners struggling to stay afloat, the teachers striving to inspire their students, the senior worried about rising rents, and the young person wondering if they ever can afford to live in a city that they love. I promise to lead with integrity and with integrity. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous here. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Bear with me. Almost done. All right. I promise to lead with integrity, to listen with empathy, and work tirelessly on the behalf of all of you. Together, we can tackle the challenges we face and create a city that works for everyone, because that is the New York spirit. And when we come together, there is nothing that we can't achieve. So today, I'm asking for your support, your ideas, your energy, and your voices. Let's bring and build a better New York together, one neighborhood at a time. Together, we can make it happen. And I'm about to make the following announcement. As a proud New Yorker, I am honored to stand here today to endorse my friend, my brother in arms, who is fighting for all of us, and that is the Honorable Gonzalo Duran for Mayor of New York City. A former Marine, Gonzalo Duran embodies the values of service, discipline, and unwavering commitment to the people. His decades of leadership, experience, and dedication to fairness, opportunity, and safety makes him the right choice, and I feel the only choice to lead our city forward. Together, we can work with Gonzalo Duran to build a stronger, safer, and more united New York City. And together, we are running for you. So in closing, all I can say is thank you for your time and opportunity for letting me speak today. And lastly, let's get to work. And hopefully I'll do better next time. Thank you.
Just to be clear, that was not a prompt, so thank you, Jason. Our next speaker hails from Queens, Juan Pagan, running for district leader. Let's give him a round of applause. And if you're gonna check out the mic, once again, this is a musical mic, so you can put it close to your chest and it'll be fine.
Next up, the concert.
It's the standard's designed for short people, so it's very fitting for me. Hi, my name is Juan Pagan. This year, 2024, I ran for New York State Senate against the incumbent, progressive leftist, very, with a lot of resources. Yes, I was defeated. That's okay. Now, 2024, I just ran. The first time I ran for office was in 2006, the Lower East Side. Woo! Yeah, okay. So, I ran for New York State Assembly. I was running against the incumbent. The incumbent lost because I pulled so many votes away from the incumbent that another candidate won. So from 2006 to 2024, and I'm still running for office. Now, I had a break in between. I was diagnosed with cancer, late stage, and I had to take a break for almost like 2.5 to 3 years. But starting from 2006 till today, I've been running for public office. Now, my family, now, and what I want to tell the candidates, okay? Because my family's telling me like, hey, take a break, give up. Are you crazy? I said, no, okay? I'm a warrior, okay? And that's how you got to think, all right? You're running for office, you are a warrior, because we are fighting for something, okay? We're fighting to not lose our freedoms. We are fighting because they are legislating laws. The types of laws that they're legislating sin. They are legislating immorality. They're legislating, they want to demoralize society. Okay? Now, one of the big questions that I get when I run for office is, why are you running for office? And I could go with a list of things that are going on, but I want to read a very short few sentences from a letter from a lieutenant commander during World War II that he sent to his son. And this is the reason why I am running for office, put very succinctly. He says, because there are, quote, because there are people and countries who want to change our nation, its ideals, forms of government, and way of life, we must leave our homes and families to fight. Fighting for the defense of our country, ideals, homes, is an honor. An honorable duty which your daddy has to do before he can come home to settle down with you and mother. He was killed during that war. He never made it back to America, but he was fighting for the same thing today that we are fighting for. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple of ideas from my platform when I ran for office. One of the big things that I am, one of the number one issue is the fact that our legislators want to undermine parental authority. Right? So I'll give you an example. Okay. The New York State Department of Education issued a 42-page document to all the entire public education system, and it's about indoctrinating our children, starting from kindergarten, and introducing transgender ideology. Okay? This is wrong. This is evil. And some people have told me, don't use the word evil, but that's what it is. Children are pure of mind, pure of heart, pure of soul. The responsibility of our public education system is to educate our children, not to indoctrinate them, not to confuse them, which is what they want to do. In this document, it's a plan to undermine parental authority, where the state takes control of our children. In this document, they want to introduce 26 different genders, from kindergarten up. They want to confuse our children. I think Ronald Reagan put it beautifully. I can't remember the exact words, but he said, all we need to do is lose one generation and we lose America, we lose our freedoms completely. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, I have to review my notes. Okay. Now, there was a senator during the Roman Empire, Senator Cornelius Tacitus. In one of his speeches, as he argued on the Senate floor, I took a line out. He said, formerly we suffered from crime. Now we suffer from laws. And the laws that are coming out of the city council, the laws that are coming out of the state legislature, is to undermine society, to demoralize society. This is why we need the candidates here that are running for office. We need to put them into office so that we can fight back effectively. We need to do that. Get our people. There's so much more that I like to say, but the way I'm going to end it, and the fact that we're in a church, I want to end it with a prayer. Okay? And it's not my prayer. It's a prayer that was written by a chaplain, and it's a short prayer, by a minister, a chaplain by the name of Joe Wright. He was asked to open the new season of the Kansas State Senate. This was his prayer. This is also my prayer, and I hope it is yours. Father, we come before you today to ask your forgiveness and to seek your direction and guidance. We know your word says, woe to those who call evil good and who call good evil. But this is exactly what we have done. We have lost our spiritual equilibrium and reversed our values. We confess that we have ridiculed the absolute truth of your word and call it pluralism. We have exploited the poor and call it the lottery. We have rewarded laziness and called it welfare. We have killed our unborn and call it choice. We have neglected to discipline our children and called it building self-esteem. We have abused power and called it politics. We have coveted our neighbor's possessions and called it ambition. We have polluted the air with profanity and pornography and called it freedom of expression. We have spit upon and trampled the American flag while it burned on the ground and called it freedom of speech. We have spoken against the transgender flag in the classrooms of our children's elementary schools and called it hate speech. We have ridiculed the time-honored values of our forefathers and called it enlightenment. Search us, O God, and know our hearts today. Cleanse us from every sin and set our nation free. Amen. So we need what's going on in Albany, what's going on in the city council. They want to demoralize our children, our cities, our neighborhoods. I'll just give you one more example where the city council, you're running against Carlina Rivera, right? Oh, no, she loses. Okay. Well, I just want to mention, I ran against her. So you need any advice? Please come to me, okay? I ran against her. Okay, and to let you know, I was born and raised on the Lower East Side. That's like my stomping ground. Okay, I moved to Queens just like a couple of years ago. So I just want to give you an example of the types of laws that are coming out that are being supported by city council and being passed in the state legislature. Okay? A couple of years ago, they proposed the legalization of prostitution. Okay, it went to the Senate. It couldn't pass because there's a penal law, New York State penal law, that allows law enforcement to fight that, right? To make arrests. It's illegal. So what did the legislators do? They repealed that law. Now, in essence, prostitution has been decriminalized. Now, the next step is to legalize it. Exactly the same steps they did with the passage of the recreational use of marijuana. First, they decriminalize it, then they legalize it. There's so many things happening. And let's remember, I'm gonna leave you with this, okay? In our Constitution, there's a few words in our Constitution, in the first paragraph, and it talks about our Creator. That's where our rights come from. The state wants to take that away from us. Don't allow them. Okay. And like I said, let's be warriors, man. Have that mentality. You're a warrior, not just a candidate. Okay. And I will tell you this: I ran for office many times from 2006 till this year. Okay. It is spiritually straining, financially straining, physically straining. It's hard work. So there are people out there. If you're not a candidate, support your candidate the best way you can. If you can, just help them. Help us to make it. Help us so that we can really have and make an effective change, and so that our communities can really become what they are: thriving great communities where we can raise our children, have a really bright future. Thank you very much for this time. God bless.
Thank you, Juan. Appreciate that. Our next speaker hails from Staten Island, Jennifer Lee Holm, running for City Council.
Good afternoon, everyone. I kind of grew up behind the pulpit, so it's just kind of extra special to be standing here, not on an ordinary stage with an ordinary mic, but a musical mic, place of worship, right? Um, Anyone who doesn't know me before I start to get into any speech, I have a firm faith and respect for every religion and every belief. Okay? Why I am identifying as a conservative and honing it is because I believe in one, freedom of speech, two, respecting our communities and our people for their core values, and I emanate what it is that it means to be a conservative. I come from diverse backgrounds. My father is Black American and from the Virgin Islands, right? Black so, and my mother coming from Puerto Rico, very deep-rooted backgrounds as well. Vega Alta, Ponce, Rio Verde, Agua, places you don't normally hear besides Ponce, right? And then St. Croix and the Virgin Islands, we come from Christiansted, right? The reason why I give you a little bit more of my diverse background is to understand that every demographic I grew up with friends that were immigrants, that were not just natural Americans, that were either American Indian or of the Moorish nature, but literally every background that I could have possibly thought of, I grew up, getting to know. And so I've had the pleasure today of coming up here, due respect to Duran, right, who's going up for mayor, as well as the young man that brought me into this, which is good man for the wrong. Okay, recently this week, I started to see in my news feed Miss Immigration say that Donald Trump promised immigrant students their visa and green cards for completing their education. And in New York State, SUNY and CUNY colleges did the same years back in order for our New York State residents to complete their educational background and service our people. As long as they stood around 2 to 4 years extended from graduation, they would have their complete financial aid wiped out and paid for, leaving you with good credit. I being one. I wrote a speech, right? I being one, I just want you to know is that I have faced almost every single challenge that there is that the average New Yorker faces, whether it's from the legal jurisdiction system imposing rights over how we parent to as simple as criminal neglect, where you're not aware of certain laws. We tend to claim we know our rights, but our laws change daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. We're not in tune for that. So during my campaign for the last week, I've been driving a legal consciousness awareness program. Know who your friends are. Before you get in someone's car, ask if it is insured and registered, if their license is valid, if they may have something in their vehicle. This could even be an Uber. If you cannot trust the person you travel with, then guess what? Criminal neglect is no excuse. If you love yourself that much and you love the next human being next to you, you will arm yourself with knowledge to know, such as myself, and I'm going to let it out right now before I give you my speech. I myself have been a product of showing what criminal negligence is. For some time, I was serving as the national ambassador of the hip hop fraternity, attending meetings throughout the entire country and globally, Africa, Nigeria, Virgin Islands, France, West Coast, East Coast, right? And throughout this time, I had migrated from New York City to Georgia, and I had lived proudly in Atlanta. I had become a registered and licensed carrier. When I came to visit 2 years ago, due to my granddaughter passing from RSV, I came to bring my family down south and ends up encountering on the same day of receiving a congressional award for a program called the Rosie's Project, allowing women to receive resources, not as they're exiting the incarceration period, but during their incarceration period, being able to attain certifications such as their OSHAs, and as well do a fashion show and put on some nice suits so they can get ready for the job market when they come out. Thank you. For about 2 months of my preparing that proposal and prior to DOC accepting this, right? For 2 months while I was going all over the East Coast, I kept asking other women, how can I present this to another woman when I've never been in them shoes? I don't think this is a funny way, but God definitely has a good sense of humor. And He will answer your prayer and say, you want to know how? Well, now you're going to live it and walk it. And for about 7 weeks, I lived in Rikers Island until I made bail, paid our former district attorney a nice amount of money in order to deem me viable for something called an intern program. An intern program basically a two-step program. You make your bed, you lay in it. Came here, you are an active member of society. We know you as a community advocate, and you came here and did something you didn't even know when you should have been smarter than that, right? And I had to arm myself and say, you know what? How can I give back to my people? Well, I didn't know that when I came here, I should have notified the enforcement that I was going to be here for the weekend. Now I can actually tell other visitors coming in that are New York originals, right? That leave here, go to Pennsylvania, go to Florida, go to Atlanta, go to these places and tell them, hey, before you get here or as soon as you get here, just register. Let them know they're here. Let them know that they're in the lockbox, right? So you don't have to go through the same thing that I went. But right now, I am the prime example of overcoming certain legal injustices, right? There's only one article in Staten Island that actually claims Jennifer Lee Hom did something that she didn't know she was doing, right? And of course, the media is allowed to publish whatever they want in whatever way they want. And when you go on the news and you see Donald Trump, right, is a felon who is now our president, right? And then you go, Kamala Harris is a saint coming in from the West Coast, although she was one of the people to spearhead abolishing our parental rights. Okay, so now I'm going to give you my speech, right? And I just wanted to give you a background to let you know I'm just as human as any one of you here. If I don't arm myself with the proper knowledge, I cannot do for my people, right? And if I'm not a warrior overcoming these and seeing victory, I cannot tell my people I can do this with you. So now I prepared a little something. This is a slogan and a motto that I state. I'm also known as Lady J nationally, globally. I'm known as Lady J, who has been a resource hub and a community advocate for years for individuals starting their own businesses in the entertainment industry, in the media industry. It doesn't matter what it is you come to me with an idea, I will help you as long as it's deep rooted in the right direction. So the founder of the Culture Incorporated and the upcoming Culture Incorporated magazine says, through unity in our communities, for the people, by the people, we prove communication is key, knowledge is power, and love is the answer. From one human to another, respect is given. So my name is Jennifer Lee Hom, and I'm ready for City Council in Staten Island's District 49. I'm sharing my vision for a stronger, more inclusive community and to ask your support as I work to bring positive change to our city. Having lived and worked in Staten Island for 28 years, I have seen both the challenges and tremendous potential of our community. I am committed to addressing issues that matter most to our residents, such as housing development, public safety, economic development, education, or environmental sustainability. My experience in a multifaceted public services, business development, bilingual advocacy, and community activism has equipped me with the skills and determination to be an effective advocate for our neighborhoods. I believe in working collaboratively with community members, businesses, educational institutions, resource organizations, law enforcement, and governmental agencies to create solutions that reflect our shared values and priorities. As your city council representative, I will ensure that your voices are heard and that our city moves toward the future of opportunity, growth, and fairness for all. I would be honored to have your guys' support that are in the building and extended following today. In this campaign, together we can build a community where everyone has the chance to thrive. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I definitely look forward to hearing from you guys and building with you. Thank you for considering me for this candidacy, and I hope to earn your trust, your vote, and just strive in this upcoming election. Lastly, I leave you with just a little bit of work that's going to be done. So we have some upcoming concerns and workshop highlights. And the reason why I do this on a broader perspective is because we all tend to pick our own common cause, whether it be drug intervention, whether it be mental health awareness, et cetera, et cetera. The number one thing that I want to create with these workshops, including with my fellow constituents, Tyree Denman being one of the first and foremost people we spearhead most of these things with, is identifying the common issues in our neighborhoods. Number two is securing our local businesses. It's not just the entrepreneur. It's not just the bodega guy. It's not just one business or another. The same way that we want to feel safe and comfortable when we walk into our stores, we must do the same for them to give us the same respect. Which would be number one, which is number three, using human-like techniques to engage with your people. Prime example is, we may see someone who is no longer housed and is homeless on the corner, and possibly be a veteran, and definitely be someone's son, daughter, sister, brother. Versus walking past them when we cannot attend to something they're asking for, it is as simple as a head nod saying, I do not have it. If you treat people the way you want to be treated, like a human being, you will see how much unity will come out of your community. Practicing strategies for overcoming fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. We're scared and we fear our children failing. We fear our children walking to the grocery store or even commuting to school, where now we've implemented an overload on technology by giving them cell phones, thinking that's the way to show a sense of security. When we could not walk our children to school, our neighbors did. It takes a village to raise a child. So in order to overcome certain fears, we have to actually debunk them ourselves, calling on that next classmate, calling on that next brother or sister that may be able to hold you down one time or another. Last but not least is maintaining an awareness, intervention, and prevention methods. This is something that became evident to me over the last course of the few weeks, is that we're always doing awareness programs, awareness workshops, awareness, and we talk about prevention. Well, it takes steps for everything. The same way as you have to turn over the soil before you plant the seed and then continue harvesting. It's the same way for any other cause or condition. You have to, one, create the awareness so people know what's going on. Secondly, you have to do the intervention part. Whether you like it or not, you cannot see change if you don't intervene and say, hey, listen, looks like you're about to overdose. What can I do? And then prevention. Well, awareness and intervention leads to prevention. The reason why I say this most importantly is because there's a man who unbiasedly killed another man on the subway. Rest in peace to Jordan Neely. But there hasn't been no real restitution paid because the man, or the men, I'm going to say, because it wasn't just one man, the video show wasn't one man, the men that took the lives of Jordan Neely that had showed a bit more compassion and understanding, like everyone else on that train who thought he was bugging out when he was saying, it's easier for me to go to jail to get a meal than to rely on my people for help. And now he is no longer here to stand for himself and say, I needed a preventative measure implemented so that this way I can continue to live. So while we're imposing an awareness and we're intervening, impose with preventative measures. And that's about it. That's what I can do for my community. I do it on a daily basis. Whether I win or not, we continue to do the work. But I plan on winning. We're in Staten Island Conservative Party. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that very much. Our next speaker, hailing from Brooklyn, our very own Isaiah Vega, district leader.
Over 30 years, well, nearly 30 years ago, my mother immigrated to this country from Peru. 6 years after that, I was born. My name is Isaiah Vega. I am currently a district leader for the 54th Assembly District in Brooklyn, which encompasses Bushwick and Cypress Hills. Coming from Cypress Hills, which I consider a neglected part of the city, yes, nobody knows. It's very, you know, I didn't grow up knowing the politicians that came out of there because our vote was always split. And so, I never thought I'd get into politics, really. Graduating high school at the age of 16, college at, 20, 3.5 years. I thought life was just so flimsy. But seeing that no one has advocated for my community for many, I decided might as well be. So I ran for the 37th. I ran for the 37th Council District last year. Probably I was probably one of the first serious candidates that ever had gone to the seat, obtaining the matching funds, having a great volunteer base. Unfortunately, we did not win, but we planted the seed for something better. And so I stand before you today in support of my friend Gonzalo Duran, who's running for mayor. I wholeheartedly endorse him for one. But the work I've done for the city, helping candidates across the city, I feel that's the position of helping. I know a lot of people, especially in my community, want me to run for city council, but I am foregoing that this coming year because I know I'm in a better position to help people across the city, even in my own district, where we'll hear from a candidate who plans on running for the seat I ran for last year. And so, my friends, I say this wholeheartedly. We have to work together to attain something better. We need a strong top of the ticket so that we can push for change in our city. And I believe that is what they're talking. And from the candidates that we're going to hear from today, I believe we must wholeheartedly support them, whether they are Democrat or Republican, as long as they stand for common sense, we have to take back the city from this progressive city council. You know, the country my mother fell in love with when she immigrated here, and the country, you know, the city I grew up in for the last almost 23 years is not the city that we fell in love with, that I know and love. This is a much different city. And every day, piece by piece, our government is destroying it. So we need to push for change. And with this event here today, you know, I hope to see that change. And I hope help all these wonderful people attain the office that they see. So my friends, I look forward to hearing from our candidates up next. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Isaiah. You know, we do have a couple more weeks, so hopefully we can get him into changing his mind for city council. Since we have one individual that has to step out early, we're just gonna take a quick intermission. If the five county leaders can step up front, if you don't mind, please. I'm just gonna take a quick picture. Now, internal politics is a lot harder than general politics. So I'm hoping that some of these individuals endorse me today, which I want to make very clear that I didn't prompt them to do that. But getting their endorsement now helps me when it comes to I guess my campaign to not only the other chairmen across the city, but also the state level, which I'm going to have to go through as well. So getting these individuals and others to support me in the weeks and months to come, I appreciate it very much. So can you just step over here? Jason, are you around? Omar, is Jason in the smoking? Can you ask him to come in, please? All right, just 1 minute. There we go, Jason. Thanks. Sorry about that. Take his time, man. Okay, look straight ahead, start smiling. Have you got it? Yeah. All right. Thank you. I apologize for the mission. We got it. Once again, I apologize. We just have a guest that has to leave early, so I want to make sure I went through first. That being said, now we're going to speak on regarding the candidates. Once again, these individuals are coming from all over New York City, and some of them are starting out, some of them are seasoned veterans within the political realm. And, but let's give them a round of applause for everything that is coming up. When they step up here, show them the support and love that we need, and then when they finish, do the exact same thing. First up from our conversation, James Washington Ward will be running for city council under the conservative line. James, you can come up, please. And if you're going to speak to the mic, just make sure if you're going to take it off, you can put it towards your chest. And if you're going to leave it like this, once again, just move it around.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Washington Ward, and I'm running for District 12 City Council. I'm running for a few reasons. If you haven't seen the article that Donald posted about me lately, my background is in New York City. Born and raised over
by Webster and Fordham, moving to the South Bronx, where high school is. As a team, I attended started CC Cadet Corps, just as a way to stay on the street. Got into a lot of trouble. I didn't want to sit there, but also had community. Say community, I say me and my family didn't get along a lot. And that put me in the position to open my eyes and see a lot. With seeing a lot, I've also learned different religions, so I've had respect in all four religions. So earlier this year, with the mentorship of Gonzo, I became a chaplain because part of me also giving back into the community. I mentor the same that program that I grew up in, and I mentor. I want to say adults at times because you can't have childlike things, especially when stress hits and we start losing our minds. But I'm running because we don't have a community no more. Nobody's listening. I created a bond with my kids where they can come up to me and talk to me about anything. And I realized that listening, and I call it active listening, not just listening to hear what they have to say and then listen, but when you actively listen, it's when you can actively course too. I learned that between mentoring the kids, I learned that as a youth. Mom, why you not listening to me? Stepmom, why you're not hearing what I'm telling you? So you just giving me a band-aid. Couple years ago, Gonzo was in a really bad accident and quit everything. You know that? But he quit everything. I mean, look like Thor. The last Avengers, when he got all fat and everywhere. And I looked at him and I said, bro, what are you doing? He was like, and I was like, there's people out there that still need you. That sentence alone in full term for me. Because she said, you got your chaplainship, you got your little proclamation, you got your own photography business, you're doing this, you're doing that, but what are you doing? Touche. Gotcha. So with that being said, I was like, what can I do? He goes, well, this is district leader coming up. And I was like, I signed up for that. So I did the district leader. I am now the district leader of 83. That didn't satisfy me. I wasn't doing that. And then I remember watching Hamilton, the stage play. And then, it was a great stage play. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But then my 16-year-old has been playing it nonstop. And there's one part in the song that Hamilton talks about being in a room where, and then it dawned on me, I can't see things because I'm in that room. Then I watched it again. And then I saw all the backdoor. Everybody's out here fighting. They're back here politics. I need to get in that room. I don't care who sets me up to put me in that room, whether it be Democrat, Republican, Independent, Conservative, but I can't help my people until I get in the room. So, in order to get in that room, that's what goes for what you believe in. And then I started, I was never a politician. I was never in politics. I believe politics is a bunch of grown men lying and that was my whole thing, politics meaning, that get on your nerves all the time. Politics to me. But God's opened my eyes. And if y'all ever seen most of God's posts or pictures, you're looking at today's pixels. I'm the photographer behind 9% of this stuff. And in working with him and to seeing the things that we've been doing together over the years. Pictures of Santa Claus, the cold drives, the toy giveaways, all of that comes full circle. All of that just comes full circle. So I need to change. And in me changing, everybody changes. So when people start approaching me on the street and saying, hey, here's the reason why the 39 bucks on Glencoe Road is running slow. Guess what? I don't know for sure. Give me about 2 weeks. If my business card with me, then I can figure out what's going on. I can figure out if we don't have enough bus drivers. I can figure out if our buses too bad. We don't have enough on the road. I'm going to have an answer for it. And that's what a lot of people need. We're out here voting. We're out here, we're trying to talk to people. We got community parties. We got community events. We're called to network. And a lot of people just sit there and look at it. And nobody's doing nothing. And then we got the nerve to turn around and blame our youth. And like, why are you not stepping? Because what we show, we're not stepping. We've become complacent in everything they give us. It's like you give your dog food, but it's what people like. Nasty dog food. You give your dog a steak, it's not that dog food. It's not gonna happen. We can't be that dog. We gotta know it more better for us or for these kids. She said, hey, I can get a better meal in jail than asking for help.
That's really what he said.
And what is that gonna tell us? I'm sitting here, I'll let you know I'm overweight, I'm fat, and you know what, honestly, I can go get a meal for $5 from McDonald's before I can go get a healthy meal in the supermarket or in a regular restaurant. So what they doing? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing is, a lot of us are not big for eating. A lot of us are big for what we have in our grasp. What we can get. What if we are down on our luck and the government giving a single 50-year-old person $96 food stamps? How are they going to supposed to sustain a healthy lifestyle of $96 a month? Let's be realistic. That's what we have to take. This is what we have to listen. This is how we eat. Right? It doesn't matter if it's food, doesn't matter. It's all about being right and listen. That's my time. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Not bad for a first time, James, huh? Just a reminder, when you're speaking, if you're gonna take the mic off, you put it close to your chest or directly talk to the top. It's a musical mic. Now to move on to our next speaker, hailing from Manhattan, running for public advocate, Angela Aquino. Angela, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. And it's such a great honor for me to be standing here in front of you. And I just want to thank you, first of all, for spending your very precious Saturday here with us. Your presence is a symbol that we're all hoping for a better change for tomorrow. We all know that something's wrong, and we're willing to put ourselves out here in front of everybody, put ourselves, our personal lives, and into the public for a cause, for something that we really, really believe in. And I'm just so proud of everybody to putting this together. And I want to thank Gonzalo, who is our number one bet for mayoral candidate, because he believes in the change. I think he's the right one for this job because of his background of being in combat in the most conflicted, highly conflicted areas in the Middle East. putting himself in line, putting his own life in line, the sacrifice that he's willing to make for his country, and now those qualities to the people of New York. Because this is the true fight that we are doing right now. And we are really needing somebody who's willing to sacrifice themselves for this battle that's going to happen on next year's local race. First, I want to introduce myself as a public advocate. And it's such a great honor to be able to run to this very, very important and crucial position. A lot of you don't know, but I have spent many, many years, decades of experience advocating for the rights of others as a petitioner, as an activist. My victory is a testament of a win that's not my own, but is a beacon of hope to others that symbolizes a person like me. Right now, there's a lot of single moms, a lot of children suffering because of single unit households. This is a product of the silence, of the dangers of families that hit us 30, 40 years ago when the Democrats said, be quiet. There's nothing wrong in being alone and raising a child. There's nothing wrong with excluding a man in the life of a child. Sorry. But I'm here to tell you because I know that the Democrats did something very, very important for all of us that affected not only my life as a woman, but my child's life. And I'm here to promote that family value that has been so forgotten, and that value that has been terminated out of lives and of the future. Because of single household, a lot of women are suffering poverty. A lot of women and children are suffering the absence of a father, and they're now more exposed to gangs, to crimes, to arrests. Currently, we have an incumbent that presents himself as a Black person. But is he really Black? The most that happened to him was suffer a stop and press. And he cried like a big baby. But we know that the real Black person really gets arrested and gets convicted. That's Black. Somebody who gets arrested because he stopped an ambulance in a protest and then there gets $250,000 after, has the nerve to say he can relate to the Black and brown community who has barely nothing to eat. I'm here because I know that the city deserves a champion. And it's not me. A lot of us also have seen what has happened in the streets of Manhattan when it comes to anti-Semitism. This fight may be personal to me because I do have a child of Jewish heritage that asks me, Mom, what did I do wrong? When he sees these protests and name calling of his people on the streets that Jumani allowed, he allowed these hate to be on the streets. Why? To lift up the poor, to make other people look bad? Well, this hate just drove away the Jewish community. What does that mean? A lot of jobs have closed down. A lot of people lost employment. And frankly, a lot of that, they moved out of the city and now our taxes and returns have been affected. And not to mention the danger in schools and in public schools and the propaganda of terrorist loving that is now allowed to circulate around schools. They say it's just politics, don't take it personally. But the right of a politician stops when it violates our rights. right? So we have to take this city back. And that is why I'm here to run against them. As a public advocate, I will advocate for more funding for public safety. Our single moms and their children will have the support that they need in the community. They must have extra love and extra support and acknowledge at this single household and acknowledge that there is a gap, because if we don't acknowledge and say, oh, they're poor, it's fine. Women can do it, women. So if we don't acknowledge that, we can't replace the gap. And communities like this, where we are right now, churches, men who are willing to step in and they acknowledge and say, yes, there is a gap. We want to be here for our brothers, for our little children, and take them out of gangs and give them a place in a community where they can speak up and they can find home and they can be safe and think, well, I don't have money, so help them out, right? Help them out. As a public advocate, I will spend time making sure that our charities have enough funding, and not just certain charities that are favorable to certain politicians that are receiving all the funding over and over again. I'm talking about real charities, real 501c3s that are really serving the community and being the warriors for the people in the community. Because they need our support, not just a certain group of people. I will also make sure that there will be good education, good meals for our children, not a bunch of carbs, high protein food, and healthy food will be served to the children. I will make sure, and I thank you so much for acknowledging this, that the materials in schools regarding transgender, promoting transgender, and I have seen them, and they are disgusting. Because Julian is not a mermaid, So these are the schools that they're giving and putting in the bags of the kids and reading to the children one by one. So this is very alive and true, and we have to stop this as soon as possible. As a public advocate, I will make sure, now that we have saved almost $6.4 billion and squandered it on people that are not even paying taxes, I will make sure that they'll be used so that there's going to be better food for families, and there's going to be better education for children, and better funding for our mental health, mentally ill New Yorkers who are asking for services but cannot get it. I thank you so much for this opportunity. Our unity now shows perhaps the answer that we are looking for is already here in this room. The miracle that we are looking for is already here in us. And I'm looking forward to an election that the Conservative Party will really shine through this time around, because we do have an opportunity. We now share a president who has the same values that we want to uphold to the people. So thank you so much, and I look forward to it.